Mats, great seeing you here again at Stockholm Fintech Week 2026.
Yeah, my pleasure. So great to be here. Really great event this year. Super excited. Like I said, I'm loving the one-day format. Really fantastic. I think you squeezed a lot of great things into the agenda in one day. So congrats on that. I think it's going super, super well.
Thank you so much, Mats. We're happy to hear that it's resounding and it's working for the attendees. For those that have not had the pleasure of meeting you, just briefly tell me who you are and what you do.
Certainly. So I'm the CEO of Marginalen Bank. We're a Swedish, primarily a lender, but also a bank in the payment space. So we're really looking right now to build out our payments offering and scale with instant payments for anyone who wants to do business in Sweden, really.
All right, now the Swedish market is quite dynamic. We see a lot of those banks, well, there's the traditional big banks, there's a lot of those banks popping up. What's unique about Marginalen?
So we've been around for quite a long time, but not a massively long time. So we're about 15 years old. And that means that we've acquired quite a bit of experience when it comes to how we run payments in the local infrastructure in a good and efficient way. And then we're also slightly larger than some of the banks that have been popping up recently. We have about a 20 billion balance sheet. So that means that we can also do slightly more things than the folks that are just focused on running simple payment rails right now. So we have a slightly broader offering and we have a bit more experience, and that's why our clients like to work with us.
Right. Okay. Now, tell me a little bit. How does Marginalen work with fintechs? Because there's in the event here we have representatives from the financial industry, from fintechs. Tell me a little bit more. How have you engaged with them?
Yeah, we're super excited about all of the opportunities that exist in the fintech space. We work with both payment companies, basically facilitating their payment access. It can be to Swedish, but also to other payment rails. We work with the digital asset providers just to help them with general access to the banking infrastructure. So we have multiple use cases that we deploy, and what we're seeing right now is a demand to go away from just pure payments place into also being able to add more services for these companies, but also for their end consumers. So it always starts with payments. I mean, that's the lifeblood really of any fintech business, right? But then, it evolves into accounts for their consumers or their businesses or their own business. And then it evolves into maybe other services as well. It can be credit, it can be cards, etc. So really happy to, be able to grow with our customers in that evolution.
All right, now throughout the day, we've been celebrating Swedish ingenuity, Nordic prowess in the fintech space. What do you think is unique about the Swedish banking space that other countries could learn from?
So I think we come from a place where the banks have historically done the fintech industry really a lot of favors, and I think we have to be, as fintechs overall, I think we have to be grateful for all of the fantastic work that the banking industry has done with bringing up Swedish, growing up Bank ID and services like that, right? But then I think there's a fantastic foundation to stand on. But then I think now the fintech industry has to step forward also and continue to evolve these services, because it's great underlying rails that are there, but being in a bank myself, I mean, it's hard to run a bank, right? You don't have so much headroom to innovate and stay within the regulation and make sure that you manage everything in the way that you should be managing it. So you have less room to always be on the leading edge of innovation. That's why it's so great to be able to work with fintechs who are now thinking about, okay, how do we take the basic stack, the basic fundamentals, and evolve that to the next level and make sure that, we keep innovating. And we have a fantastic ecosystem, as we see here today, of, a large number of more established companies, but also new companies that are up and coming. And I think it's so great to see how, really that challenge is being picked up on and worked on by so many great companies.
Yeah, and how all the players continue to evolve together to the next stage of maturity.
Yes.
Indeed. Now we're halfway through the day. What's been your key takeaway so far from this year's event?
I mean, look, I think it's unavoidable to see that there's a lot of talk about AI, and I think that's of course makes sense, and it's amazing to see all of the great things that we can do with AI and agentic commerce, etc. But I think the proof will be in the pudding there in terms of when we come back next year. Is that still going to be, what's the theme going to be, and is it agentic commerce, is it AIs in fraud and transaction monitoring, or is it something else? And that's why maybe I'm now growing old and conservative, Chris, but that's why I also like, the more established parts of the agenda when we talk about instant and real-time payments and, how you innovate in those payment flows with things like stable coins, etc., because those are proven business models. We know they work, they commercialize, they scale, they make money. And I think that's super interesting that you have a good track on that here today, because I think there's a lot of money to be made in that space.
Indeed, indeed. Well, Mats, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us, and hope to see you again next
It's
year.
so great.
Sooner.
Yeah, so great to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.